I'd estimate that like 99% of the things I apply for, I don't get. But that 1% that I do makes for a mean highlight reel. And in this video, I'm gonna give you like 3 ways to shift your mind in order to keep going on this journey. If you're new here, my name is Marcus. I am a composer, I am a producer. I score film and TV. I did A Lady in the Lake for Apple TV. I did Honk for Jesus Save Your Soul for NBC Universal. I work with Beyonce, Andra Day, Juilliard, Atlanta Opera, a bunch of other people. Like I alluded to in the intro, probably 99% of the things that I apply for or I reach out about or shots that I shoot, I don't get. I can't explain to you like how many times my emails just go unanswered. But that's the thing, is that 1% of the time when it does work out, that's all that really matters in hindsight. Before I even get into the tips, I would take that. So my first advice about how to deal with rejection is kind of the opposite of like what they traditionally say. They traditionally say like, you know, just get over it, just keep going, you know? And while that is good advice, and I think that's like in the right place, I just don't know that that's sustainable for the long term. So my first big tip on dealing with rejection is give yourself time to feel it. Now, what you don't want to do is just go into like this mopey place and you're depressed for weeks. So what I always do if I'm struggling with a rejection is I give myself 24 hours to deal with it. Depending on you, depending on your temperament, maybe you need 48, or I wouldn't do more than 72 hours, like 3 days. But like, so I give myself 24 hours to just kind of like feel the feelings, man. You got to process them. You have to go through them. You can't just repress them. You can't let it turn into hate or any of that stuff. It's like, be bummed about it. That's natural. If like you're pursuing your dreams and you're going after things that you really want, like you should feel bummed about it. It should sting a little bit. If you're like a workout through it type of person, if you're like, I need to be distracted, I need to play some video games, if you got to be around friends or loved ones, or maybe you just want to like, you know, be a potato on the couch, whatever that is for you. Secondly, after that 24 hours is up, what are you going to do? Now you are going to focus on the output, not the outcome. You want to maximize for the variables that you can control. Can you control whether or not you get hired for a job? No. Can you control whether or not you get accepted into a program? No. But you can control how many shots you take. You can control how many emails you send out. You can control like how many applications you put in. So you want to like maximize that output and get good at like tracking that. Maybe you're like, okay, I'm setting a goal that like every day I want to send 3 emails out to people who might hire me, or every day I want to apply for 1 job, or whatever it is for your medium, for your field. Set goals and focus on the output, not the outcome, because you can't control that outcome, and that's like a recipe for going crazy. And lastly is just like a mindset shift that I have that like has really helped me over time. I always like think to myself, this is internal, you're not gonna say this to the people when you're rejected, but like internally I think to myself through this lens. It's like, oh, bummer, this wasn't a match, that's unfortunate, or it's not a match right now, that's unfortunate, but I know the next time these people talk to me, it's gonna be a lot more expensive. And I think what like the internal part of this is like, you are on a journey, you are in this for the long haul, and like eventually your stock is gonna just keep going up, going up. Say you are a startup and you're called Google.com, and this is like 20 years ago, whatever it is. You're trying to like, oh man, nobody's buying my shares for $10, you know what I mean? But now those would be worth thousands of dollars. They know that value. And that value is gonna keep going up because they're in this for the long haul. They're not tripping if you don't buy it at the 10, because like you still have the option to buy it at the 1,000 or whatever it is. So basically this is just like, just don't take it personal and focus on the long term. Like keep working to make yourself like a more valuable asset, a more like easy yes next time. And know that almost always, it's just not personal. A good friend to me once said, like, with all the potential matches in the world, why spend any time thinking about a non-match? If you got any value out of this, subscribe for more. On this channel, I just give a lot of my advice, unfiltered. I answer all questions. And if you have any tips for dealing with rejection, leave them in the comments and we'll kind of all learn from each other. All right, guys, see you next time.